Hi everyone, World Briefing video version for August 16th, 17th. Hello from Rome, also known as the Eternal City, at a very, very sleepy and very, very hot time of the year. Well, of course, I've been keeping a close eye on developments in Kursk region in Russia, where Ukraine is already well into the second week of its invasion. Amazing footage coming out now that Western journalists like Nick Payton-Walsh of CNN are there on the ground filming stuff. It's hard to even imagine that what's happening. The posts, the law enforcement posts have been taken over. Civilians have had to retreat to underground shelters, but they have said on camera that they are being given food and that sort of thing. Complete opposite of what civilians face under Russian occupation in Ukraine. But I'm going to try and keep this short because I've said a lot already on air. But zooming out a bit, there's a lot here that just doesn't meet the eye in terms of the lack of Russian response. And as I told BBC the other day, I think we're beginning to see the hints of insubordination among perhaps FSBs, among the generals, top-ranking commanders of the army, the border guards. This is a real challenge to Putin's command. And I also said that, maybe because of their slow-mo action, I called it, they're signaling to Putin that enough is enough. That perhaps this is an unwinnable war, perhaps enough of your territorial eventualism, hybrid wars. We don't know. We can never be sure. The other thing I said on BBC, which is, by the way, I should credit experts on the Atlantic Council for saying a lot of this a couple of days ago on a panel, is that as far as we know, not one shot has been fired from a police station where the Ukrainians have taken hold. And also there's no real visible resistance either. So either people are afraid or they're just, blasé about what's happening. The response seems haphazard. You have very many different arms of the state reacting to this. But leading the charge, so to speak, is Alexei Dumin. He's Putin's former top bodyguard and a real henchman for Mr. Putin. He organized the evacuation of the former pro-Russian Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych. He coordinated the illegal annexation of Crimea, and he reportedly headed the operation to stop the Wagner Group from advancing onto Moscow. So this guy has quite the rap sheet against him. Finally, the point I mentioned as well is that Putin is doesn't have many other cards left to play, and if Dumin fails, what other card does he have to play? But, having to throw former inmates of this, contractors, conscripted folks, doesn't seem to be doing the job. And what I'm thinking is maybe he's going to be forced to call up a mobilization. That's a very sensitive word in Russia, let alone Ukraine, but it's something that probably is going to scare a lot of people in Russia because they realize, should they be sent to face the Ukrainian forces who are using a lot of really high-tech Western kit, or be sent to the front line with Ukraine, this is basically a death sentence, or they're going to come back with long-lasting physical and or psychological injuries. Moving on back here to Italy, I'm going to play a little video report that I did from Sicily from a couple of days ago when Mount Etna blew, and then I'm going to leave you with the headlines that you should be aware of, including the spread of the mpox, also known as monkeypox, outbreak to outside of Africa. Have a good one. So this is what happens when a volcano erupts near an airport. Everything gets canceled and people line up and wait and wait and wait. Buses go, hotel rooms go, and the airports get clogged. Also, aside from Mount Etna emitting a lot of ash today, according to Ryanair, something almost like 20% of flights are delayed or canceled today over Europe because of ATC problems, not enough staff working those air traffic control centers. So they're pretty upset and did a YouTube video about it. So here we are, and thing about volcanoes, there's it's all in control of Mother Nature. You never know when it'll stop, when it'll continue. I was caught in one in the Philippines many, many years ago as a young reporter, correspondent for the China Morning Post. That was much, much bigger. That was several square kilometers worth of volcanic ash. But those were like big particles that came down almost like snow. And there's one point where even the windshield wipers wouldn't move this stuff away. And then there was also a flow of debris when the rains came. Could have been the end of me, but luckily I got out of there and have had some locals help me, and people put me up for the night, and the kindness was unbelievable. Something I'll always remember. So yeah, here it is, peak of the travel season, and this is happening in Catania in Sicily and Italy.